Chief political correspondent Carl Cameron takes a look at how Democrats and Republicans made their points during today's meeting.
President Obama has not had enough Democratic votes for a year to pass health care reform, but nonetheless opened his White House meeting with congressional leaders blaming Republicans.
This became a very ideological battle. It became a very partisan battle. I hope that this isn't political theater, where we're just playing to the cameras and criticizing each other.
But positions hardened long ago. Former Republican presidential candidate John McCain suggested the GOP wants reform, but it's time to start from scratch because the public has lost faith in the process and the president's promises.
They want us to go back to the beginning.
Let me just make this point, John, because we're not campaigning anymore. The election's over.
I'm reminded of that every day.
Arguing that bipartisanship requires trust, Republicans demanded Democrats abandon any plans to drive health care through the Senate with only 51 votes under the rarely used legislative maneuver known as budget reconciliation, instead of the normal 60 votes needed to advance major bills.
Start over. We can write a health care bill. It means putting aside jamming it through.
The Senate Majority Leader acted as though they had never even considered the shortcut tactic.
No one has talked about reconciliation, but that's what you folks have talked about ever since that came out.
It came out because both House and Senate Democrats included language using the reconciliation shortcut to pass health care in their budget in the spring of 2009. The president left it in play in the absence of consensus.
It may turn out, on the other hand, there's just too big of a gulf, and then we'll have to figure out how we proceed from there. I think most Americans think that a majority vote makes sense.
Outside the summit, Senate Democrats are openly advocating for the reconciliation shortcut, knocking the threshold of 60 needed votes down to 51.
I think the American people are entitled to have the majority rule in the United States Congress. We should be a democratic institution.
Most Republicans believe Democrats have already decided what they'll do.
Our concern is that the administration is going to use this so-called summit simply as a launching point to bring a government takeover of health care back into the Congress and to pass it by a simple majority, abusing the legislative process known as reconciliation.
It was political theater, and both sides were reciting from scripts they've been using for the last year. Before the curtain came down, it was clear the next act may well be reconciliation, the shortcut that President Obama has been avoiding today's recognition that it may be the next thing coming up. Brett.
Carl Cameron live on Capitol Hill. Carl, thank you.